For the past 8 months I have been on a journey. Neville has been a huge part of it. I had manifested things before, but nothing like this. Earlier this week I manifested financial security after hitting rock bottom. I'm copying this from a comment I shared earlier, but now with more detail. On Monday afternoon, into the evening and into the early morning hours of Tuesday, I had a very long panic attack. My employment was coming to an end due to factors beyond my control. Money was obviously a concern. I needed clarity. I needed confidence. I just needed a mental break, even if only for 15 minutes. So I decided to be alone and imagine that everything was okay. I wasn't thinking about Neville at that moment. I was just desperate for an emotional break. I sat in a dark room. I put my phone somewhere I couldn't reach it. I closed my eyes, and I forced myself to feel what I knew it would feel like to not worry about job uncertainty or mounting debt. I imagined asking my wife if she wanted to go to Paris. I imagined how excited I'd feel, what her eyes would look like when I asked. I imagined flying to visit my mother unprompted, how happy she'd be, how that hug would feel. So I imagined transferring money out of my checking account and into savings with ease. And when I say feel, I mean I forgot about my physical body. I imagined the emotions of those scenes vividly, focused on each one. I didn't focus on money as an object. I focused on the emotions that having it would bring. Not just happy, but the specific kind of joy I'd feel seeing my wife's eyes light up. Not just love, but the love I'd feel from my mom after a long-awaited hug. Not just freedom, but the precise emotional release of moving money into savings, knowing I was safe. It was enjoyable. Doing this felt like a vacation for my frustrated mind, because I had given myself permission to forget everything else and just feel. Drop the expectation of manifestation. Do it selfishly. Do it because ridding your mind of bad feelings and replacing them with fulfilled desires feels amazing. It's now Wednesday as I write this. Tuesday morning I was told that someone at my job location is quitting. A position would be opening up. Tuesday afternoon my boss, who didn't even know about the person quitting, told me she wanted to find a new position to keep me on board. Wednesday at 10:30 I got out for lunch early. I used that time to apply for a few jobs on Indeed. 2 hours later, a recruiter texted me. 3 hours after that I was on the phone with a new potential employer. 20 minutes ago I was offered the job. It has flexible hours and pays 3 times what I currently make. I went from a full day of panic, heart rate over 100 and self-defeat, to pulling it together, to remembering that I am God, and so are you. Hi me, I didn't force anything. I just followed the natural course laid in front of me. Reality morphed to match my feelings. Mind is all.
Originally, I was going to write this in my journal, but I thought my success story and inner thoughts on the law of assumption might help someone. My way of manifesting may sound familiar, just expressed in my own words. This is a long story, but I share one of my biggest successes and the mindset that helped me understand how this really works. It doesn't even take as much effort as people often think. When I reflect on the moments I manifested significant things, I remember feeling the same way every time. I was feeling content with life, in a state where I didn't need the thing I desired to feel happy or fulfilled. I told myself either outcome with or without the desire is still good, and I trusted fully in the plan of the universe or God or whatever you believe in. I felt peaceful inside, and most importantly, I was completely present. In fact, when those desires came to life, I wasn't even thinking about them. It felt effortless. Last summer, I manifested the love of my life much quicker than expected. Before meeting him, I wasn't actively looking for a relationship. I was solo traveling, enjoying life after graduating university. I had planned to focus on my career after my travels, and I always had a quiet feeling that the right person would find me at the right time. We met while traveling, and in a way that felt impossible. We were both staying in the same hostel. That day, neither of us was supposed to be there anymore, but we both extended our stays for our own unrelated reasons. That night we met. Since then, we've been in a long distance relationship. We live in different countries. Over time, we talked about how it all happened, how he felt the urge to speak to me that night. We truly believe we manifested each other. He also follows the law of assumption and Neville Goddard's teachings. So spiritually, we're aligned. Months before we met, I had written down the qualities I wanted in a partner, very specific traits, values, morals. Even a random vision of his appearance came to mind: dark, curly, short hair, tan, muscular but lean. He looks exactly like that. After writing all this down, I let it go. I didn't obsess over it. I just assumed that I already had that person in my life. I went on with my life, and that part is so important. When you're not focused on the how and when, you're trusting the universe completely. You don't have to do anything but wait. The universe will guide you into taking inspired action. And often we're not even aware that we're following that inspiration. Like when I extended my stay at the hostel, I did it just because I didn't feel like moving. I wasn't expecting to meet my partner that soon, but I believe it happened because I wasn't fixated on the desire. I was present, happy, content being single. And whenever I saw something that reminded me of relationships, like a couple on the street, I felt joy. I felt genuinely happy for them. I had the quiet assumption that I already had my ideal partner. Sometimes I'd visualize how it would feel to be with him, and it always felt natural, like it was already real. The fact that I was content either way helped me detach from the desire. I now apply this way of thinking to everything I want to manifest. I've used the law to get into my dream university, to travel frequently, to receive unexpected sums of money. If I had to write instructions for how I manifest, they would be simple. Step 1, ask the universe for the desire. Be clear, set the intention and place the order. Step 2, let it go. Assume it's already done. Wait for it to reflect in your 3D reality. Step 3, be content and grateful now. Even if it hasn't shown up yet, live in the present. That's it. You don't need to look for signs. You don't need to check the 3D. If you do, you're reaffirming lack. You're telling yourself that you don't have the desire. And that's not true. Everything in your external reality is you, pushed out. Limiting beliefs, negative thoughts, and doubts are normal. When I experience them, I just observe. I don't try to fight or fix them. I remind myself that they're part of an old belief system, a system that's dead and gone. Those thoughts are dead weeds. My new beliefs, they are roots, they are strong trees, planted deep in the soil of my consciousness. You don't have to control everything. You don't have to know how or when. Ask for what you want. Assume it's already true. Then sit back and let it find you out there in the 3D. Because inside you, it already exists.
Hello everyone. Lately I've been manifesting like crazy. Everything is unfolding exactly as planned. Stick around until the end. I'll share a classic specific person's success story that many of you love to hear. First story. I'm a road cyclist and I use a sports app to track my rides. There's one specific downhill segment, long, with sharp turns and heavy traffic. It's dangerous to go fast there because you never know when a car will appear around a corner. A week ago, I told myself I was going to break into the top 10 of all time on that segment. I told myself there would be no cars the next day. It was done. I visualized my name on the leaderboard. There have been over 50,000 attempts on that stretch. The next day, I arrived at the downhill. The tailwind was absolutely perfect. I knew it was my moment. I wasn't afraid of the sharp turns, and there wasn't a single car that day. Not even one. As soon as I finished and stopped my watch, I knew. I could feel it. When I checked the leaderboard, I was ranked 9th of all time. Second story. About a week ago, I listened to a podcast by Bry Guy. He talked about taking a leap of faith, like Miles Morales or Indiana Jones. The idea of jumping and believing. So, I rewatched those exact movie scenes. Into the Spider-Verse. I played that leap scene 100 times. The "What's up, danger" moment. Then I watched the Indiana Jones leap of faith clip, where he has to ignore everything his senses are telling him. It stuck with me all day. The next day, I went to the cinema with friends. We watched the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Before the movie started, there were only two trailers. One was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Part 2. The other, a brand new Indiana Jones film. I hadn't even known there was a new one coming. The last one was over 15 years ago. And somehow the exact two stories on my mind were shown to me. Third story, and the best one. There was a thread yesterday about manifesting a specific person. A girl shared how she got her SP back. I commented with my own story. My SP had texted me a month ago. That happened right after I posted a thread here, now deleted. In it I wrote how I used to put her on a pedestal, and that now I realized I was always the one above. I forgave myself. 3 hours after posting that thread, she texted me. We hadn't spoken in 3 or 4 months. I even ran into her the next day in town. Even though we live on opposite sides of the city, I just said hello and moved on. Because I knew I deserved better. That was a month ago. Yesterday, while replying to the new SP thread, I wrote again about how I used to see her. How I believed I was the one on the pedestal. 4 hours later, she texted me again. Then again. This time, something felt different. She told me she had picked up hobbies I used to love, the ones she always disliked. She came to my place today. She listened to every word I said. I used to feel unheard in that relationship, but that was just the old belief system. You think circumstances matter? A few months ago she told me she was done. She said she wasn't attracted to me, that it wouldn't work. We had sat in a restaurant when she told me that. But the only reason it didn't work then was because I believed it wouldn't. This time I knew it was done. Done in a different way. She changed because I changed. She couldn't keep her hands off me. Kiss after kiss. Word after word. Hug after hug. She was me pushed out. Passionate. Present. Aligned. How do I manifest so quickly? I chose to understand my past and my bad manifestations. I took responsibility for what I had created. I faced what most wouldn't, and I accepted it all. That's when I realized I am worthy. It's all about self-concept. You have to do the inner work. Make yourself whole, and the rest will follow. The old man, your old self, should fear you, not the other way around.
Hi everyone, I've been reading stories on this subreddit, and after reflecting all day on manifestation and spiritual law, I decided to share one of my own. This is partly to remind myself of the power of the mind, and maybe it will help someone else. This might sound unbelievable to some, but everything I'm sharing actually happened. Let's go back 2 years. I went through a tough breakup. My boyfriend cheated on me. I was devastated. We had been living together and my life revolved around him. After the breakup, I couldn't leave the house for a month. At that time, I was already familiar with manifestation vision boards, scripting, and similar techniques. Then on 11/11/2022, I went on a walk with a friend. We decided to do what we called a manifestation walk. We spoke as if our dreams had already happened. I said things like, I can't wait to park my G-Wagon in front of my house. My friend added, and your Forbes feature will be on a big poster at your entrance. It felt so real. We were just feeding off each other's imagination. Later that same week, I made a vision board. It had images of my dream car, a house, and a check with a specific amount of money. A week passed, and suddenly I felt compelled to watch YouTube videos about a particular industry. I got completely obsessed. I watched videos every day. One day, I came up with a business idea related to that industry. Fast forward 3 months, I had made 10 times the amount I had written on that check. I was featured in Forbes. I bought my dream car in cash. I moved into a 5-bedroom mansion. It all happened fast. Some of you might think this story is made up, but it isn't. It's wild to look back and realize how quickly and precisely things manifested. So what worked? Was it the technique, the mindset, luck? All I know is that manifestation is very real, and I'm proof of it. Here are a few things I've learned. 1. Be very specific. During our walk, I said I wanted a big house, but didn't specify if I would own it. I ended up renting it for only 4 months. Next time, I'll be clearer. 2. Don't focus on the how. My Forbes article came out of nowhere. I was looking for an advisor for my business. I partnered with a woman and later found out she was a Forbes contributor. She featured me in an article without me even knowing. 3. Be mindful of unwanted manifestations.
I think I manifested the cheating incident too. I used to listen to songs about cheating and create mental scenarios where he was unfaithful. Eventually it happened. Now I try to replace those negative thoughts with better ones. And when I slip, I don't beat myself up, I just redirect. 4. Manifestation and faith go hand in hand. Back then, I felt hopeless. So I turned to God and asked for guidance. My life began to change rapidly. Yes, this story is full of material wins, but I also worked hard and put in effort. The main takeaway: what seems impossible isn't. Your beliefs shape your reality. Believe, act as if, feel it. Ask for guidance from God or the universe. Then follow your intuition. It will happen. Think about self-made billionaires. They didn't get there by accident. They believed they were worthy of success, and their subconscious and conscious beliefs aligned with that. You can do it too. The only difference is your mindset.